Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today we're going to be mixing and mastering a track from Izan right in our Discord. Our Discord record label is official. We're getting started. And you guys could download the multi-tracks to practice on your own or remix the track. We're actually doing a remix contest right now in our Discord. This track is by Izan, who sounds like Michael Jackson mixed with The Weeknd, mixed with Just He's Nuts. And then Sajai did the music production. Crazy team. So we're gonna get behind them and push this record, but also we want to do a remix contest and a mixing contest. So download those stems below and just join us on Discord for the details. All right, so this is my step-by-step process. So what I'll do is I'll turn this off to gain some more power. There we go. So firstly, I have everything grouped just for the sake of turning stuff down. So what you do is you go to the left side, and I'm gonna hit Shift, highlight all the tracks I want to group in this case, and I just right click, move to new folder. And the new folder, you could do a routing folder or a basic folder. I did a routing folder. Okay, so let me just show you the steps. Routing folder, and then name it something. I just named it everything. Now what this allows me to do is clip gain everything all at once. So I just learned this trick. Okay, so we can highlight all these tracks basically. Okay, and once we highlight all these tracks, I can now hit control, like the actual control, not command on Mac, but control shift and then up and down and turn these tracks up or down all at the same time. Because if I didn't have this, everything would be super loud, eating up so much room. So look how loud it is without even, with turning it down 20 dB, listen to how loud it is. So I'm gonna wait till the vocals come in and we'll start turning it up. So that's pretty loud though for minus 20 clip gain. So you may ask, like, what dB am I aiming for with this group of sounds? You know, a lot of people get obsessed with that. I'm just listening for when does the kick punch without it needing to clip. That's what I'm listening for as a hip hop mixer, I guess. So the kick is boom. I could feel it, but at the same time, I could push it a little bit further. So again, hit Control Shift and then hit the up arrows. And here I can feel that kick and that bass. So let's see what level we're at as far as the group so far, because I want to give myself room. So whenever somebody's talking about headroom, think about it like space on your computer. You know, if you have too many apps or files, your computer just slows down and it craps out. So think about headroom like space on a computer. I just need enough dB to add plugins that eat up space, metaphorical space, on this mix, because if I have too little space, I can't add enough plugins, and plugins add space. That's how I think about headroom. So let's see how much headroom we have so far. So somewhere between -9 and like -18, just somewhere in between there, roughly. Okay, that's a rough estimate. So just enough. So what we're gonna do here is start by, we already leveled for the most part. The beat is already leveled. It doesn't need anything turned up or down. The only thing that I would probably turn down, but it might take away the vibe, is the sound effects. But I'm starting to think the sound effect is really important to the beat, because if you mute it, it just loses that thing that makes it unique. I'm just gonna turn this down a little bit. Now I'm doing the volume here before we get into plugins, because this volume will determine how hard the plugin will have to work, basically. So if I crank this and it goes into a compressor, now the compressor has to deal with all this extra information. So there's nothing I need to produce about this beat. The beat is excellent. It's by Sajai. And again, I'll leave their Instagrams below as well. But they're in our Discord. And again, if you want to join the remix contest, it's completely free to download these multi-tracks. Just go to our Discord and look for the details. Also, the remix contest. We're going to have a mix contest, remix contest. So hop in our Discord. This song, these guys are immaculate. This is, I can't even like stop to listen to these tracks, because I'm like, wow, these are people in our Discord We just started a record label out of nowhere. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Firstly, is I like to get the technical stuff out the way, then do all the creativity. So with the vocal, let's start with the vocal first because the beat, I feel like it's done. There's nothing to add to it. I'm gonna ask myself, what can the bass do more? What can the kick do more? The instruments, there's nothing really to do to the instrument. So let me solo the kick real quick. All right, so he has like a bouncy type of push-pull kick, not your typical kick. Let's load up FabFilter just so we can see what's going on. Okay, so this kick has a lot of information, surprisingly. It has this high frequency. So what I'm gonna do is switch this to a bell shape. Where's our bell shape? Here we go. And we're gonna see what this frequency is up top because that's a ghost frequency. I'm not necessarily hearing it. Hmm. That must be out of my audible range, 17K, because I don't hear a thing. That just shows I used to be able to hear up to 18,000, but now I can't hear this. So let me extremely turn it up. That's so weird. My ear's not even producing that. Well, now we know we need a hearing test. Okay, so let's see what else we could hear up top. Oops. Okay, I can start hearing it at 7. Maybe it's just so quiet. Okay, so I do like the top end of the kick. It's not pronounced enough for it to be a thing. In the mix, I don't hear the kick and go, it needs more highs. So I'm not going to exaggerate the highs, but I'll do it just to hear what it sounds like. Because now boosting those highs makes the kick sound more crunchy without me adding saturation to actually make it crunchy. Let's hear it though in context. It just adds a little more, it adds something for the ear to actually grip onto. I'll put it that way. So we don't need to do much about the character of the kick. Now, one other thing I like to do with the kick, but let me check the bass first, is add 60 to 75 hertz. So let's find our bass track. So it's saturated. Let's add an EQ. We just need to pull up some of the high end. So let's do a high shelf and then boost this. Because I want it to be cut through kind of like a mustard type bass. There we go. Now it does take away some of the leniency towards the bass, but I like this sound. And then what I'll do is I'll solo like 60 or 75 hertz at a very sharp Q and then pull this up. I'm still worried about my hearing at 16K. Maybe I didn't have the volume high enough. That's what I'll keep telling myself. Leave it in the comments below if you heard that 16 kilohertz in the kick. I'm still thinking about that. All right, so let's turn this up. So I boost this until I feel the bass. It needs to be like in my ear. Now, sometimes 75 works better. It depends on the octave that your bass is in. So check 60 to 75. That's like my favorite zone to boost in the sub area. So for this bass, I think 75 works a little bit better. 60 was cool, but it didn't stand out as much. Okay, let's hear everything all at once. So let's go back to that kick. Let's boost up. Let's see where the kick is. So the kick's living at 60. So what we'll do is boost to 60 of the kick and then boost to 75 of the bass. So now the kick can dominate in the 60 and the other bass can dominate at 75. Feel that. Now let's check when they both play at the same time. Now, because he played the kick in a very complimentary way, they don't clash. So that's good. Okay, now let's work on the vocal. I might go back to the kick and rebalance some of that 60 to make it more kicky in like the 90s to 100 as opposed to 60 more subby. So the kick is like a sub bass, kind of like a short sub bass, the way I have it EQ'd. Okay, let's work on this vocal. So the first thing I'm going to do is just add a compressor. I'm going to give you guys the project files for free so you can get started. If you want to join the mixing contest, just go to busyworksbeats.com and you can sign up for free and then go to free downloads. It'll be in there. So let's go to the vocal and let's add a compressor. Now, I want to keep this stock so that you guys can open up as much stuff as possible. I'm not a fan of their stock compressor, but let's use their compressor just to see what we can get out of it. All right, so their compressor is, let's lower the threshold. Oh, it's already low. Let's up our ratio. It's already up. Now remember, I turned the volume down, so the input is very low. So what we could do is just crank the input up by turning the clip gain up. So it's actually going into the compressor. Now I forgot I have this other clip that I copied and pasted just for the video's sake. So let's do negative 7.5. Okay, we want to match each one. So 3-to-1 is pretty gentle compression. 4-to-1 would be like drum territory. Now this is in, I believe, microseconds. No, it's in milliseconds, okay. But it can go all the way down to microseconds, which is a very fast attack. So I mean, I'm not really pushing the compressor. It doesn't need compression. Also, I think he already processed the acapella to a degree, so I don't want to overly process the acapella. But let's just do it for fun. Let's overly compress just to see what it would sound like. Hear that, like, ooh, it adds like a type of sound. So listen for this. Let me solo the vocal. But listen for this, like, exaggerated, like, breathy sound, breathy sound. Where it's like, okay, so I'm glad we heard that because it was like a little in the microphone. So I think the compressor is taking the life out of it more than it's adding life to it. So in that case, we're gonna be really careful with this compressor. Over the words that I thought, and I don't know where it sounds. And again, he's already processed the vocal to some degree, so we got to work around his processing, which is a little, even if you take the compressor off and solo the vocal. You know I'm I lose control over the words that I thought. There's like a little mid area. So what I do to tame stuff. Now we got to remember that some beats are even processed. You know, some people just master on a 2-track. So, or record on a 2-track and master that. So we have to deal with other people's decisions. And here's where I'm going to start correcting the decisions of him as an artist in this case. So I'm going to add a multi-band. We're going to listen for the area that has that extra like push down sound to it because it sounds like it's around like 400 hertz. I can't pinpoint it, so I'm going to solo the area that I hear in my head. So let's solo each band. So this low end is good because it adds that type of feel. It It actually sounds pleasant. Okay, so that's the low mids are very dense. It's also kind of bitey around that mid. Oh, here it is. Here's the problem areas, the highs. They're very sizzled. So what I'm going to do is tame that sizzle, which is probably from a saturator. Let's pull down the threshold to capture the signal. And let's turn up this compressor. Always go backwards with this. So this needs to be a negative value. Okay, let's turn off solo.
You know I lose control over the words that I thought. And I don't know where it's at.
We're basically like de-essing. You hear that? It's like, this is killing my ears. This is too much saturation for my ear. Now this is a solo vocal. So.
Control over the words that I thought.
Okay, so just taming those highs. Now I also think it can get some control around the, I think the mids, the high mids. It's nice, but it's very like radio frequency and it hurts the ear a little bit. So let's pull it on this threshold. This is a very good multi-band. I overlooked it for a long time. And let's pull this down. Let's say negative.
Over the words that I thought.
Let's control these low mids too. These sound good, but they can have a little too much energy. Like right there, like that note. So let's do a before and after. Here's before. Listen to that high and it just.
Over the words that I thought.
Here's after. Now, typically, I would go in and correct individual little spots where he might have been more plosive. For this video, I'm not going to bore you guys to tears with like micro edits, like where he's going like in the mic, or where he's doing like where it's like a little too close to the mic. It's just, you guys can watch a different tutorial for that. So I'm going to overlook that. And now we're going to go into an EQ. Let's pull up an EQ, and I don't think we need to add much EQ, but let's try to use the stock EQ here and maybe pull up some of the highs that we took out. Now this time it's not sizzled highs, it's just highs. But even still, let's see if Pro Tools has a de-esser. Let's see if it has a built-in de-esser. Dyne 3 de-esser. Okay, so let's use this one and let's listen in for the harsh frequency that I'm hearing. It's razor sharp around 8K. Dang, that's razor sharp. So let's pull that down. Yeah, that's razor sharp. So we're going to do high frequency only so that it's not affecting all the 1 to 16K.
I don't know where it's at. You know I lose control over the words that I thought.
Just to tame that high end so it's not like trying to stab you through the microphone. Okay, so let's hear it in context though. Again, let's play it before and after. So here's before the plugin. So you wouldn't even notice it until you point it out. Then you're like, all I can hear is the S's in the high end.
Over the words that I thought. And I don't know where to stop.
Right there. All right, now the plugins are back on.
And I don't know where to stop. You know I'm out of control. Over the words that I thought. And I don't know where to stop.
Now again, there's pre-built effects in here like delay. He also has a saturator on the vocal, so you can't really unsaturate something. You can deprioritize, but you can't unsaturate something. Take away harmonics outside of like filtering, which I don't want to filter the vocal anymore. So what we're gonna have to do is lighten it up a little bit by spreading some of the energy out using chorusing. Not a mandatory thing, but this is more so what I'm gonna do for this track. So let's run this back. So now we're gonna start using sends. So I think about tracks like, let me rename these for you. So I think about tracks like kids going on a school bus, and let's send this kid on school bus number 1 and 2. And then we have to tell the school bus to go to a school. So now let's create a track, hit Control Shift N. Let's create a stereo aux input. And what we're gonna do is call this like delay / reverb. So this is our metaphorical school. So now I'm gonna go to the input and make sure that bus 1 and 2 goes to this school. Okay, so now all the kids that were on bus 1 and 2 will go to this specific aux input. So for the aux input, I like the plugins called Mod Delay 3. This is one of my favorite delays to feed into a reverb. And what else do I like? I like Mod Delay and Deverb. I like those back to back. And also like, I'll show you guys a trick once I get to it. Okay, so I like default settings on the Deverb. Now we need to send a portion of that. This is where the metaphor kind of breaks apart, because you could send a portion of the kid to bus 1 and 2. So we're gonna tell the bus 1 and 2 how much of this track or this kid we want to send to the school, aka the bus that goes to the school. So this is what you click on the send for, and this fader pulls up. This is how much of the signal we're sending over to the bus. Basically controlling the amount of the effect. Or I should say the volume going into the processing, which is a different concept. Like if you're going into tape, you might have to slam this at 12. Okay, so it's not, so that's the difference. Okay, so my added delays, again, remember he has a delay already on the vocal. Izan already has one. So I'm adding another delay on top of that delay. But it's this one I want to go into deverb. So it softens out the delay instead of making it like, hey, 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 like that. It's like, hey, hey. It's more like washed out. Like, hey, 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 like that. Let me solo it so you can hear. My little rendition was kind of. So without deverb, it's just, it's very like that. A little too heavy, but into deverb. And what I like to do to make it even bigger is pull up a pull up a mid-side EQ. I don't know if Pro Tools has a mid-side EQ built in. Let me see. I don't know what it would even be called. So I'm going to use FabFilter, Pro Q3 for this. And I'm just going to add a band anywhere, really. I like the low mids to high mids. And we're going to click on the type and switch. My head might be in the way, actually. Click on the type and go to side. So now I'm boosting only the side signal. And this just makes the reverb stand out a little bit. Here it goes like, you're adding that tone. So if I want to make it sound taller, I'm going to boost somewhere from 2K and above. If I want to make it sound more like widthy, I'm going to boost the more lower area. If I want it more intimate sounding and like more feeling like a blanket. Okay, so I need to cut out his frequencies below a certain point. So one thing I'll do for this vocal, because this vocal is high enough, we are going to look at Pro Q3 because I need to see, where is it at? Pro Q3. I need to see where his actual vocal ends. Whereas normally I wouldn't need all this stuff, but so like below 100 hertz is where his vocal kind of doesn't have what's called a fundamental frequency. So anything below that point we don't need. So I'm going to chop that off because his plosive thing comes in below that point.
You know I'm out of control over the words that I thought. And I don't know where to stop. Make it forget what I can.
Okay, so it goes like. So since that's such a microscopic area, I thought it was going to be below, but it's actually not below. So I stand corrected. What I'm going to do though is pull down this EQ. And we could also turn down the send amount so it's not so heavy.
I don't know where to stop. You know I'm out of control
Kind of liked it feeling like in a space. It just sounded cool.
over the words that I thought. And I don't know where to stop. Make it forget what I can.
And some people also like to do parallel compression. Again, I think the vocal has gone through enough processing, but let's just open up another track for you in the case that you want to add parallel compression. So parallel compression is just adding compression. Instead of adding it directly on the track, we're going to add it on another aux input. Let's go to the bus. This time we want to write a different bus 3 and 4. We're going to send bus 3 and 4 to the school called parallel compression. Let's change the input to the bus 3 and 4. So now all the kids that we're writing on bus 3 and 4 are going to that compressor. And we're going to send the amount over to the compressor with the fader. Now you access the fader by clicking on this little send thing. And then now we're sending signal over to the compressor. Now we just need to tell it which compressor we want. There's different styles of compression. We usually, when I parallel compress or add a parallel, I'm going to use smack. This is for more of the drums, like acoustic drums, but it works too on vocals. So I'm going to send it to the compressor.
I don't know where to stop. You know I'm out of control over the words that I thought. And I don't know where to stop. Make it forget what I can.
So let's just turn it on and off and see, does it make a dramatic difference or not?
I don't know where to stop. You know I'm out of control over the words that I thought. And I don't know where to stop. Make it forget what I can.
It just adds a little more density to the vocal and makes it stand there a little bit more as opposed to feel a little more hollow. It's the only way I can really truly explain that. Now, what I could do to make it more separated is add a chorus. So there's a plugin called Air Chorus. I really love the Air plugins inside of Pro Tools. Also, there's a free version of Pro Tools that nobody talks about. It's called Pro Tools Intro. You can click the link below to get Pro Tools Intro for free. So nobody really talks about it. I don't know why. So here I'm going to add a chorus, and we're going to widen out that compression just so the compressor has its own space instead of trying to just stack on the mono vocal.
I don't know where to stop. You know I'm out of control
I'm going to exaggerate.
over the words that I thought.
And a way to hear this, actually, let's send this to no output. Before I do this, let me double check. Okay, it's in bus there. Okay, and what I'm going to do, though, is turn off the send so that we're only hearing this compression. Let me turn it on. So this is what it's adding. So you can hear how aggressive that compressor is acting. Now we're sending a lot more signal to it. That's probably why the compressor is going ham. So let's pull it back a little bit. So that's the texture we're adding with that compressor. We're just adding harmonic content to the vocal so it's more filled out. And the chorus is just widening it up and making it go left and right as opposed to just dead center. Now it's already, I forgot there's background vocals in here. So it's already wide due to the background vocals. Now you can, instead of that, if you don't want to make that, let's use a phaser. Where's air phaser? Let's use air phaser to see if we get more of a, actually I meant to put flanger, my bad. Flanger is what I meant to pick. Flanger. Is there air flanger? Okay, here's air flanger. So I like to experiment with these for stereos effect. So I just like this as a custom chain. There's no right or wrong thing. Let's add some delay here. Let's add a mod delay probably. Now this mod delay, I'm going to make it more pitch different. So it's not like run in the mill. So let's add a mod depth. It's a little hard to hear this delay. Okay, now I hear the delay. So I kind of like that depth that it's adding. It's like a creepy. And it's a little hard to hear the individual delay because there's delay on the vocal, so it's blending in with the decisions we make. But anyway, let's hear it. It's almost like a slap delay. It's like that. So it's just filling in just after it says the word. So it's like it's like filling in, so it's not dead space. So we want that to be super subtle so it doesn't get overly complicated. All right, now let's get the beat kind of organized and then we'll move into the master. So it took a little bit to get here, but I mean, it's fun in Pro Tools. It's not boring to do that. Okay, so let's get this bass and the drums hitting and then we'll go into the master fader. Turn the snare up a little bit. back the bass a little bit. So without obsessing about the beat, because we could mess with that all day long, I'm using the basses more as a top layer to the kick. The kick is more the sub in it, and it plays more often. Okay, so we have a group called the Everything Mix Bus. Now I named it just Everything. I'll rename it Mix Bus. So we can group everything here. So one thing I learned from Sage Audio, shout out to Sage Audio, is add Fab Filter Saturn. I like this sound for more, where's it at? Fab Filter Saturn 2. Here it is. Now for more edgier music, this one isn't as edgy, but if you wanted to make it edgy, what we could do is turn up the drive on this, add a modulation envelope. Now make sure you turn down the mix level because that's where I used to screw up. Mix level wasn't set right. Grab this little blue dot, drag it over so it modulates that, and then tell it to go up 100%. So now every time something goes above a certain threshold, it will saturate the sound, basically adding a little buzz to the top end of your kicks and snares. I'll exaggerate so you can hear. So basically every time that kick hits, it goes up. So I like that sound because it adds texture, but it also controls the transients. So shout out to Sage Audio for that. Nextly, I'm going to move into a clipper. I don't think we need maximum loudness on this track. This is more of a vibey track. I know people like just swear by loudness. To me, I'm not a fan of just making stuff louder, but I understand. So let's pull this down to -2 just to get started. I put mine on crisp mode. Now you can also, I think you could link these and then turn the input and output up. Because with this, you're getting rid of some of that kick punch when you're squaring off that kick. So let's bypass it. Let's see if it added anything or just. Not hearing much of a difference. If anything, it's like shadow clipping. If you want to exaggerate that for more boom bap, you could just turn the inputs up. So we have the transients taking control. Now we're going to move into, I don't think we need to edit really the tone, but you could mess with the multi-band compressor if you want to tame certain areas of this track. So let's add that multi-band back. And let's do Pro Multi-Band Dynamics. I'm really liking this plugin. So now I'm going to listen to each zone and just make sure there's nothing I'm missing. So I think the bass is moving good. It doesn't need less dynamic or more dynamic. Now this area could be better with the vocal. Let's see if we can we make this zone tighter? Let's make the zone a little bit tighter to only address like that. Now we should be doing this on the vocal, but I think this is coming from, I guess it is our vocal. So a lot of fundamentals sit around this area from about 100 to 400. That's where most instruments have their core frequency. So in this zone, we're just going to tame some of that buildup because if everything's stacking at one frequency, it just becomes louder and louder and louder. We're just going to tame it a little bit. I don't think we need to overly tame it. Just going to make sure it doesn't get too heavy though. think the high mids need more. So with the highs, we're going to actually do the opposite and use it as an expander more than a compressor. So the hi-hat jumps with the bass a little bit. Trying to figure out which setting. Is this set to Okay, so now it's expanding. It just needed more threshold. Let's set this to like 2 dB max. So the goal is with my threshold is I want to make it louder. So I'm moving the threshold. This is like more of a range. You'll notice that if I keep pulling the threshold down, it just stays flat. It doesn't move because there's no dynamic there. So I'm going to push the threshold all the way down until I'm capturing all the signal, and then I'm going to pull it up a little bit until this thing starts to bounce more. So it's not like just holding the volume there, because if it just holds it there, we're not getting dynamic, and it defeats the purpose of expansion. So this should be bouncing. You should also be able to feel it, but I'm mixing by the visuals right now. I think the bass is a little heavy. Let's pull up the attack though, so it doesn't beat away the whole sound. So let's turn these on and off and see if we're messing it up or making it better. Here's off. Here's before. Sounds pretty hollow. Probably gonna have to sit with that more because I'm not hearing much of a difference. Now on the master track, you can really do this on the mix bus, but on the master, let's add L2. And we'll just end it here by adding limiting. Now I'm starting to hear which things are too loud. So I'm gonna go back and turn down the bass and the kick a little bit. And the reason this limiter just sounds very squared off is because we shaved off too much curvature. That's the one problem with saturators and clippers, is if you shave off too much of the curvature, you lose the roundness of the sound, and it just sounds like you're just lifting stuff up like this as opposed to like it going like that, if that makes sense. So now I'm going through all the ghost frequencies that could be adding up, like the sends that I made could have frequencies that are just stacking up. And I pulled those back a little bit to see if that cleared up some of the image, which it did. Let's hear it without vocal. And just analyze like what is the beat doing and what can be fixed. I took off the delay on that parallel compression just because it was causing too much mayhem. So the kick sound selection, it didn't have a lot of thump to it to begin with, but I boosted at 90, which is usually where kick's like thumpy area is outside of 60 hertz because I'm gonna let the bass control the low end and the kick be more of a textural top end. It's lacking a little thump, but that's fine. It just feels a little hollow.
shouldn't trust that this will come. Oh, you shouldn't trust anybody to go your way. Nothing considered. I'm sensing it lately. I can solve nothing long as you're aside. But I never ever tried. No face, ever no.
Now I'm finding, so I'm listening to the energy buildup. I'm starting to feel a little more energy buildup around the high mid somewhere. So you're going to constantly hear this battle. It's always a back and forth with vocals. As you turn the volume up, turn it down. So that's why they tell you to mix it low. Right now I'm kind of in the middle.
Away from the thing that this will come.
So I'm listening to that, whatever frequency that is. I need to tame that because it's starting to hurt my ear.
Long as you're aside, but I never ever tried. No face, ever no face. I get you the love.
So I'm compressing it a lot harder. Sounds good. It does sound linear, but that frequency was
I
heavy.
get it, girl, you never knew that this side of me can show right out the blue. Away from the thing that this will come. Oh, you shouldn't trust anybody to go your way. Nothing considered. I'm sensing it lately. I can solve nothing long as you're aside. But I never ever tried. No face, ever no face. I get you alone. No face, ever want you. No face.
We're going to check one more area, which is the sides, using a mid-side EQ.
When I say you shouldn't trust, yes, I'm open enough to admit it. 'Cause I know I wouldn't trust if I was to be in that position. Never seen a little bit change. You always upset. I never know why. I can solve nothing long as you're aside. Ever no face. I get you alone. No face. Ever want you. No face. Say I want tonight. Say everything that I know. Say I want tonight.
I took away some of the energy in the mid and put it on the sides around 100 to 400 hertz. Let's A-B that EQ decision. So it definitely helps the vocals. I'm not sure it helps the beat exactly, but it's a nice trade-off. So let's play it one time through and then we'll wrap this up. All right, so there you have it. You will get the project files for free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com, sign up for free, go to the free downloads, look for the project files, and then you'll find it in the Pro Tools project files. So here, again, the vocal gets kind of heated around certain areas where it has buildup. All right, so the vocal has buildup around like this part and that part. But again, micro edits are for a different time. So I'll give you guys the project files for free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com. And then again, go to the free downloads tab and it's completely free to join. Thank you guys for watching. It's Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. Peace.